To take a closer look at today's sentencing, I'm joined by Brian Pfefferly, a criminal defense lawyer based in Saskatoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat today, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
What was your reaction this morning when you heard that the sentence would be 8 years?
I'd say I was slightly surprised, to be honest with you, but I knew that it would be a sentence somewhere in the 2 to 10 year range is what I expected. So it could have fallen anywhere in that range. We know sentencing is a very individualized process, and the court had to consider the individual circumstances of this situation. So I knew it would fall somewhere in that range. I was expecting somewhere near the middle, between 2 to 10. Not totally shocked by the 8 years, though. I don't think anybody was shocked by any number from 2 to 10. Really, it could have fallen anywhere in there.
Well, you mentioned the impact of this case. I mean, it's pretty unprecedented. How does this compare with other cases of dangerous driving causing death and the sentences associated with them?
We look at dangerous driving causing death cases as precedents, and usually we could say that the range is somewhere between 18 months to 4 years in prison. The 4-year sentences usually involving multiple deaths, or sometimes alcohol or street racing and other aggravating factors, sometimes a prior record. So we look at the other precedents that are out there and try to fit this catastrophic loss and catastrophic injury. It's really impossible to be able to fit this case in with other precedents because of the number of deceased individuals and the number of other victims. It will really be difficult to sort of see this case necessarily being a precedent-setting case unless there's another, God forbid, similar circumstance involving a bus crash or other significant loss involving dangerous driving. So I think we can all say that we hope that nothing like this ever repeats itself. And as a result, because of the unique circumstances of this, I'm going to be suggesting that it probably won't have significant precedential value just because it's so unique.
It definitely is unique. So how effective do you think a sentence like this one will be at deterring dangerous driving?
This circumstance itself hopefully deters many people and makes us all more alert on the roadways. I think we can all relate to the idea of zoning out temporarily, missing a turn, wondering how it happened. Minutes sometimes go by without being able to replay those minutes in your mind. And this tragedy hopefully will make many motorists remember that driving a motor vehicle is inherently dangerous, particularly driving large motor vehicles like semis. And whether this sentence actually influences the public, I'm not sure it would. The circumstances no doubt did, though, and have influenced our communities. Mr. Sadhu didn't plan on setting out to do this. I think everybody would acknowledge, and everybody involved feels for him as well. And the deterrent aspect of just being notorious for this situation and this horrible crash is something that's no doubt going to weigh heavily on him for the rest of his life, and no one would really want to ever be involved in anything close to the scale of loss. So I don't know if this particular sentence is going to serve a deterrent, but it certainly sends a message to society generally that driving is a privilege and one that we need to be very careful when we're doing it. And if you're not careful to the point of criminal consequences, you could be punished significantly for the conduct and for the consequences falling out from that.
Well, there definitely is a wide group of people who are affected by it and are thinking about this today. So thank you so much for laying all of this out for us today, Brian.
Well, thanks very much for having me.
Brian Pfefferly is a criminal defense lawyer based in Saskatoon.